Okay, well, welcome back to my channel. What I'm going to do today is to show you how to paint a very simple water reflection, and where better a subject than Flatford Mill and the corner of Willy Lott's house. The famous artist John Constable painted this same view back in the 1800s, and I just thought it makes a lovely subject, and just want to show you an easy way to paint reflections. Anybody can do this. All you do is get your landscape on, as I've done there. Very simple little landscape, no major fussy detail. And to paint a simple water reflection, you use water to damp the paper, allow that to soak in and damp again. Make certain that it's thoroughly damp. That's where a lot of people go wrong when they're learning. They don't damp the paper enough, particularly if it's a warm day. Okay, now first thing you've got to do is reflect the objects that are nearer to the water. So the nearest is the bank and foliage on the bank. So the first thing you do for that, it's a green. So all you do, you mix a simple little green. I prefer Prussian blue for my greens in water reflections, and I'm going to put with that, it wants to be an earthy green, so I'm putting burnt sienna, and that will give you a lovely earthy green. Generally the reflection is a tone lighter, reflects the object. If it's dark, it reflects a tone lighter. If it's light, it reflects a tone darker. So the first thing I'm going to do is just stroke in, while the paper's still damp, that bank. Now that will dry up a tone lighter. Okay, then using the same colour, you'll be surprised what you can do with this colour. Just paint down to get an impression of the tree. Then we get the impression of that tree. See where it's blurring? It's nice and damp. We're not painting a reverse image of the tree. We're just giving a suggestion of the sky, of the trees. Now I'm going to do the sky quite simply, a bit of ultramarine really, just touched in like that. Then we do the building. Well, we've got fairly white, but there is a little tone of colour where the shadows are, so I'm putting that in. That's that shadow, that's that shadow. A little bit of shadow up the gable there, so I'm reflecting all of the shadows. A little bit of shadow on, casting on the wall. Okay, now we do the chimney. Quite a simple, dull, reddy orange colour. Just paint that in, just like that. As long as it's directly underneath, it's not a problem. A little bit of the roof shown there, a little bit of the gable end roof shown there. Just a tad of that roof, the gable end there, a little bit running across there. Quite as simple as that, really. Okay, and now we just need a little bit more depth in places, just to give a bit more punch. So I'm using Prussian again to really highlight where the bank is. See, that's lovely rich colour. Well, not rich, but it's warm colour. Just going to go, you've got some darker trees and lighter trees. See, that's darker, so I'm using Prussian blue again with burnt sienna. So we're going to drop in that dark tree there, allowing that to dry. Then there is another darker tree there. As long as you pick up the darks and the lights, and that goes up the roof line there. May see a little bit of distant area there, just to give a suggestion, and perhaps that tree overhangs there. That's good. And then of course we have the windows. Just a bit of dull bluey greeny grey, it's all you need. Little touch of reflection there, touch of reflection for that window, little bit of shadow work there, a little bit of shadow up that gable just to show that that gable end, just allow that to come right through. Very, very simple. A little bit of reflection up that bank there, that's quite important. Yeah, I think that's pretty much good enough really for a very, very simple reflection. Now with the point of the brush, point of a smaller brush, just tidying up one or two edges along the bank, making certain that you get that nice sharp feel along the bank. It looks dark at the moment, but it will dry up considerably lighter, and which is what we're looking for. Still very damp, so and the key to it is that you allow it to completely dry, and once it completely dries you'll find that it produces a lovely feeling of a soft reflection. And that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for anything fussy, as a simple reflection. A lot of people, you know, when you're learning, you tend to see too much. Well, there's very little there, you know. It's just purely a very basic light reflection. We can see it's a building, you know it's a building, you can see the reflection, and as I always do, I'm going to pick off the tape. It's still damp, but I'm hoping to get away with that. There you go. Just make certain it doesn't curl up. I'll put that on. Clips. So that's the first tape, just to create an edge around the outside. You know, this little trick of mine that does make a big difference when you come to suggest a mount of some sort. It does make the picture look better, and this is the sort of thing that will give you encouragement when you paint, because it's vital that you show off your work to the best once you've finished, because if you don't, you get a bit disillusioned with the whole thing and you think, oh, I don't know whether that really looks right. But a good edging, you can use a mount. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't use a mount. But I find that just a simple edging like that is quite sufficient. And as always, don't forget to sign it. Just a nice dark rich brown in the water. Even these simple demonstrations I always sign purely because I think it's important. You know, one day someone might be interested who actually painted that scene. So that is pretty much it. It's drying off nicely. You can see that, just hold the camera over a little closer. You can see that we've got a simple water reflection. It's all about the building and the trees, but the reflection in many ways is secondary, so don't overdo that. If the subject was purely the reflection, then it would need more attention, but as a simple reflection to give that lovely sense of light, then for a little 10 minute application of colour, less than that, I think you'll agree it does work extremely well. Okay then, well that is how to paint a simple water reflection. Hope you enjoyed that, and stay tuned to my channel. because I will have other demonstrations coming up. So thank you for watching.